Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your match preview for Galatasaray versus Manchester United in the Champions League. Must win for United. 3 points. It has to be 3 points or Manchester United will not qualify out of group in the Champions League. Plenty to talk about. Please smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you're new. Let's get right into it. So first and foremost, obviously, we're going to talk about Kobe Mainoo, and I think he must start in this game. Look, again, I don't want to get too carried away, and I done it on the match reaction video after the game against Everton the other day that, you know, we don't want to set expectations too high for this kid. But the expectations are automatically going to come when he's putting in performances like he did against Everton, and it was just sublime. It really was. Like I said previously, composure beyond these years, knowledge beyond these years. He looks so good, always wanting to go forward with it. And I think he's the future of that centre midfield for Manchester United. I really do. Now, again, look, we can't expect performances like Everton week in, week out from him because he's only 18 and he probably hasn't got the experience to go and do that. But I think he has to be a regular starter for Manchester United for the remainder of the season. Look, it's clear that Erik ten Hag trusts him. We've seen it from pre-season. He put him straight in pre-season, gave him a lot of minutes until he got injured, of course. And he's put him straight into, you know, what potentially was a cauldron against Everton. Obviously, they had the 10-point deduction. We knew the atmosphere was going to be tense. And he trusted an 18-year-old to go into that really, really important role in midfield. And my God, he delivered. He really did. He didn't let the manager down. And I think for that reason alone, I would have no reason to think that he couldn't handle the atmosphere in Turkey tomorrow night. Now, look, again, Galatasaray away, the atmosphere is going to be a lot more hostile than it is at Goodison Park, you know, on Merseyside. So, but again, I get the sense from this kid that he's not going to shy away from it. He doesn't really care about what's going on around him. He knows what he needs to do. He knows how good he is. He's so composed on the ball. And yeah, I think he's going to be... I think he's going to be an outstanding footballer for Manchester United, and I think he can really, really do a good job for us in the middle of the park. For that reason, I think he should be starting, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, next up, let's talk about Rashford's replacement. So look, as we know, Marcus Rashford is suspended for the game against Galatasaray due to his sending off in his previous game. It's a one-game ban, so he will be available again for the Bayern Munich game. But who's going to replace him? Obviously, we do know Anthony missed out with a minor knock, supposedly, against Everton. At time of recording, it is expected that he will be available for the game against Galatasaray. But then we've also got the likes of Pellistri that's available as well. We've seen him play some Champions League games this season. Hasn't really set the world alight, you would have to say. But obviously, either has Anthony. You know, we do know that Mason Mount is now injured. He's another potential candidate that could have played on the right-hand side. And we know Bruno Fernandes has played there in the past. That is the option that I would least like to see because I think Bruno Fernandes is quite ineffective on the right-hand side, and I think he plays much better when he is through the middle, and I think United as a team play much better when he is through the middle. I think if Anthony is fit and available, it is more than likely going to be him. You know, I think Garnacho has that left-hand side pretty much sewn up now, obviously, given the fact that, you know, he scored a wonder goal on the weekend. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the forward line. Rasmus Højlund is back and training today, and it does look like he is going to be available. Erik ten Hag did say on the weekend that, you know, he is expected to be back for the Galatasaray game. So what do you do in that scenario? Do you bring him straight back in? Anthony Martial, I thought, played quite well against Everton. He does love a goal against Everton, in fairness to him. So options, again, we've mentioned this an awful lot, that options are a good thing for a manager. I would be inclined to bring Rasmus Højlund straight back into the team. You know, he's been doing really well in the Champions League this season with his goals. And I think he gives you a lot more energy up there than Rasmus Højlund does. Or sorry, than Martial does. And I think we are going to need energy when it comes to Galatasaray away in the Champions League. It's going to be a cauldron. It's going to be difficult. So I'd probably go with Rasmus Højlund up top. On the right-hand side, I would... it's a difficult one. Palestri, Antony, flip a coin. Now let's talk about Galatasaray. Look, we know this Champions League, I suppose, group stage is still wide open. Obviously, Bayern Munich have qualified. They're going to top the group. They can't be catched or they can't be caught. So it's between Copenhagen, Galatasaray and United. Obviously, Copenhagen and Galatasaray have 4 points and we're 1 point behind, bottom of the table. So it's all to play for. Now, look, Galatasaray have only played 2 games in the last 3 weeks and they've lost one of them games. They've both been domestic games since the Bayern Munich game on the 8th of November, I think it was. So I don't know whether that's going to be a good thing or a bad thing. You know, are they going to come into the game a little bit fresh, or are they coming in maybe a bit, you know, sluggish and maybe, you know, not up to full match speed? Probably, you know, the former there, you would have to say. But Galatasaray is never an easy place to go. Manchester United have never won there. However, we've only lost once there. We've lost once and drew twice in Galatasaray, in Turkey in general, I think. So it's not going to be an easy game for United. We know that these Turkish sides at home, you know, it's a cauldron, the atmosphere, the crowd is going to be right on top of you. So it's going to test Manchester United's character here. It really is. Can we get the job done? I think we certainly can. I think on paper, Man United have got, you know, a far superior team to Galatasaray. But we've said this on numerous occasions already this season. It all depends on the type of performance Manchester United put in and the type of team that show up on the day. I think team selection is going to be very important. But I also think that the game on the weekend against Everton is probably going to give Erik ten Hag an awful lot of clues and ideas on who he is going to pick, and I don't think there's going to be too many changes. But I do think we should have enough to get the job done, and hopefully we can get the performance we require to get 3 points, you know, and have a real chance of qualifying, then going into the final game against Bayern Munich. Now, for our predicted 11, let's get into it straight away. Obviously, look, good win on the weekend. I don't think there's going to be an awful lot of changes. I really don't. But I'll put my starting 11 up on the screen here. This is what I would like to see and potentially what may happen. Back 4, back 5 I think is going to remain the same. I don't see any reason why we would change it. Another clean sheet on the weekend. Onana starts in goal. Wan-Bissaka at right back. Luke Shaw at left back. And then Lindelof and Maguire at centre back. I don't see any reason why we would change this. Obviously, we know Varane is struggling to get into the team. Harry Maguire had a really good game again on the weekend. Lindelof first half was poor, but I think second half was much improved. And Luke Shaw looks good in his first game back as well. So I don't see any reason why we would change it. Midfield remains the same as well, in my opinion. I think it's going to be Menu, McTominay and Bruno Fernandes. We know Kobbie Mainoo, you know, is a shoo-in, in my opinion. I think he should be the first name on the team sheet on Wednesday night. Scott McTominay is probably going to get in due to the fact that we've got injuries elsewhere. Obviously, Casemiro is out, Eriksen is out. You know, it may be the case where maybe Amrabat comes in instead. I'm not sure, but I think Ten Hag will probably stick with the same. And then I've gone for a forward line of Martial, Garnacho and Antony. Now, again, these Martial and Antony could be two that change quite easily. It could be Rasmus Højlund or it could be Palestri on the right-hand side. So we can, you know, mix and match here as we please. But I think probably Martial on merit on the weekend could potentially get a start. But again, I won't be disappointed, like I said previously, if Rasmus Højlund does start. The right-hand side is again an area of concern, and it's an area of concern not only now, but for the past 3 or 4 years. You know, obviously we know what's going on with Sancho. Palestri is still a kid. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does go with Antony. But let me know your predicted 11, guys, in the comment section below. Do you agree with this 11? Do you think there should be any changes? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, score prediction. It's going to be a difficult game. Like I said, away in Turkey, never easy. Atmosphere, you know, Galatasaray are going to be so up for this, it's not even funny. They've got a big opportunity as well here, let's not forget, to actually qualify out of this group as well. With Copenhagen playing Bayern Munich, whoever really wins this game is going to take second spot in the table, because you would expect Bayern Munich to beat Copenhagen. So Galatasaray are going to be right up for this. Again, I'm always going to back Manchester United. I think we have enough to get the job done. I don't think it's going to be a runaway score. I'm going to go with a 1-0 win to Manchester United. Let's get in there, let's get 3 points, and let's get out of there as quickly as possible and move on to the final game against Bayern Munich. Obviously, Bayern Munich are qualified already. Are they going to put out a weakened side against Copenhagen? Probably not. But you would hope if we can get 3 points against Galatasaray this week that, you know, we will go into the Bayern Munich game. They will potentially probably not put out a full strength squad. Who knows? But yeah, 3 points is an absolute must. We will be live for the game as well, guys, on Wednesday night. So make sure you're tuning in for that as well. We'll be doing a watch along for it. Please smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you're new. And I'll catch you on the next one.